life. It's just my life. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.
Put me in, coach, put the cameras on me, let me run it. I'ma take it to the house like legislation. In my spaceship through the ozone, windmill into the rack, final destination. Blessing for the squad, revelation, war pain on my face, let us pray. May the Lord's grace bless us this day, cause any man in the way is moving to catching faith. So fly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're taking it to the house like legislation in the ozone. I am your host, Omar Miller, coming to you live from Koreatown, ladies and gentlemen, home of the Korean barbecue outside of Korea. Really? I'm here with my brother, Terry, also known as the Icons. How you feel?
I'm feeling great, especially if I can get some of that Korean barbecue.
It's right around the corner. Let's hurry up and get this podcast over with, brother. Get over there.
I gotta have it.
I do. So, folks, we got a very interesting week, an introspective week going on. A lot of introspection in the world of sports. We got quite a few people retiring, and unfortunately, we have a memorial section that we're going to have to cover with some people retiring from life in the world of sports. We had some interesting fights pop up over the weekend, which still begs the question of why boxers don't have a union, or fighters either, for that matter. I saw some footage which made me realize that the Dodgers are far and away the best team in baseball, because I watched a game with the Houston Astros, with Terry's beloved Houston Astros, and the way they lost the game isn't the kind of way you can lose a game that you're the best team in baseball.
Yeah,
but you know, they're still right at the top of the pops.
They're beat up.
Hey, regardless, I'm just telling you what I saw, brother. Don't shoot the messenger.
They're beat up. When you beat up like that, you see.
You see, Kevin, when you beat up, there's only so much that you can beat up. But yeah, we got that going. Oh man. Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Sports. I wanted to talk to you guys and jump right into it because football is almost coming back. And there's just something going on. Everybody's heard about it. Everybody's talked about it in one way or the other. But I'm just devastated with the most recent developments. As you all know, I played Charles Green, the Black Swan, on HBO's Ballers. And in this season, I'm fighting to keep my head in the corporate world of NFL executivism. I'm an assistant GM. One thing that I can tell you that the Black Swan would never have approved is the signing of Jay Cutler.
Are you kidding me?
Jay Cutler gets a job before Colin Kaepernick? Are you crazy?
He's about to blow my ears out, family.
I'm sorry. I've been waiting to get that. I feel like I was going to have a heart attack if I didn't get that out.
Release. Breathe now.
Are you kidding me?
Jay Cutler is a starter again.
Jay Cutler? Did you see the picture of Jay Cutler when he signed and he looked like, what am I doing here? They're going to give me another $10 million to play terrible football?
$10 million. I bet you they wouldn't even sign Colin Kaepernick if he was going to play for free right now.
If he paid the team, they wouldn't sign Colin Kaepernick. I just can't believe it. And with a team like the Dolphins, I actually thought, okay, this is a prime situation
perfect for him.
It's a perfect situation.
Perfect fit.
The city, the style of play. Truth be told,
his personality.
They could actually make some noise with Colin Kaepernick down there.
They actually could. And they need him, especially with a running back like Jay.
They got great receivers.
Come on, man.
They got real defense.
And his numbers really weren't that bad last year.
You know what Jay Cutler's numbers have been his whole career?
Terrible.
Garbage. In the words of Denzel Washington, you see that, son? That's garbage.
He's garbage.
That's garbage. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
I mean, I don't even I don't even know what else to put out there. I feel like we can just drop the mic and leave.
Yeah, it's disappointing because everybody wants to act like he's not being punished, and he's being punished. He needs to, if he's getting out of his place, which is to do what the NFL's corporate says, then he's going to be punished. And they're sending out a message to everybody else that if you want to jump out of pocket, you won't work.
I think that's the big thing. I think that's the message that they're sending out to anybody else who's thinking about bringing their political stance or their choices in life to the forefront. And to me, it's just amazing because with all of the things that the NFL is willing to support and forgive and embrace,
murder,
rape, taking people's lives,
rape. I mean, you can go down to, this rap
involuntary manslaughter with drunk driving.
The rap sheet that the NFL has, and then Colin Kaepernick has not done.
Drug use.
Hasn't done anything.
Prostitution.
He's a model citizen.
In comparison, all of the focus is on Colin Kaepernick and his kneeling during the anthem as opposed to why he was kneeling.
Right.
And every day that passes, I think about it more and more about how much more I actually support him with this. And because this is a situation where he knew what he was about to get into.
Right.
And I don't know if he knew about, the death threats and so on and so forth, but from the death threats to losing his employment to actually helping the 49ers out by opting out of his deal.
Right. I don't know
why
I still don't know
why he did that.
Yeah, that was not called for.
I think that he gave them a break. Break me off a piece of that kid. Give me a break. And he gave them a break, and I don't know why. But he did that. It seems like he has some sort of ethical awakening that's taking place in his life.
Right.
And he's realized how much, how many more things are important than money.
Right. And he actually looked like he realized the power that he had in the situation that he was in. And he actually exercised that muscle, which he's supposed to, and most of the other athletes should do as well.
It's just mind-blowing to me because this is one of those scenarios where the more they ostracize this young man, the more power they're actually giving him.
Yes.
Which is a trip to me.
And somebody's going to break down eventually. Even if he doesn't get to start until the middle of the season.
Because somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
That you can count on that in football.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. I cannot believe that you would opt for, of all people, Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL probably.
History.
Yeah. Wow, you went history. He's bad.
A starter?
Yeah. Scott Mitchell was bad with the Detroit Lions back in the day.
I'll take Scott Mitchell every day of the week over Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler is not
good. An interception waiting to happen.
and worse than the interception. Everybody throws interceptions. He acts like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to Jay Cutler that he's not good.
Honestly,
and it doesn't matter to the league because they keep giving him money. $40 million for Jay Cutler.
This is the good old boy network. This is what it is. Literally.
It's alive and well.
It's alive and well.
They pulled Jay Cutler out of retirement.
Yes, he wasn't even asking to play.
It wasn't even like he was lobbying for a job.
Right.
He's not even showing you the basic proponent of an athlete of what you need, which is the desire and the passion to actually play.
They said, hey, you know what? We don't want Kaepernick to play, so can you come back? We'll give you $10 million.
I mean, I don't know if they said it like that, but
Pretty much.
there's other people that they didn't hire as well.
Like
the obvious fit is Colin Kaepernick. And so I just don't understand how Jay Cutler is on anybody's list. I would rather them have just
radar.
Because he was, last I saw, he was cave diving in Mexico. And my thing is that even if
he said I don't have to be in great shape to play.
This is what he's telling you. What prep? He doesn't care about the league, whatever. And I wonder how the players actually feel. I can't wait to get some more football players on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, you know what, OZone fans, I'm going to do you guys a favor. I'm going to start picking up the phone and getting some more football players on and see if anybody's willing to talk on the record about how they feel about this situation. Right. Because, I mean, the guys have been pretty clear that they know that Colin Kaepernick is getting,
blackballed.
But yeah, they know it. But this particular situation, I feel like is just a distinct
it's a slap in the face.
It's a slap in the face.
I mean, you went to the bottom of the barrel. You pull out Jay Cutler. You can actually go get some of these college guys and even make it in the combine and say, hey, man, listen, we're going to give. But what was wrong with the kid that was the backup for Tannehill?
I'd rather have that kid more. I'd rather go get that kid from USC that won the big game last year that's never played a professional game in his life and have him play before Jay Cutler.
Come on, man.
I mean, I can't. I don't know. Chicago Bears fans, sound off for me. I know you guys feel me because Jay Cutler hasn't done anything to
They're
you.
laughing.
Yeah, they're laughing at Miami, the beautiful city of Miami. Unbelievable.
Bring you down.
I don't. Wow. Where else can we go?
He's not expected to go to the playoffs.
He's not expected to win.
He's not expected to win.
He's literally just there to take snaps as a veteran.
Yes.
To maybe help more, develop.
The only way to develop is to play.
Well, but I'm saying, and so then on top of that, these are all things that able-bodied Colin Kaepernick can do. Once again, people of color are still, and now with God rest her soul, the woman out in Minnesota, non-people of color, regular citizens are routinely being killed by law enforcement.
Yes, but you're not supposed to speak about it.
Let's just remember what Colin Kaepernick's kneeling on the national anthem was actually about.
Yes.
It was in protest to people of color being killed disproportionately by law enforcement without ever being prosecuted or attempted to be prosecuted.
Yes.
This has cost him his employment. Obviously, he's made a lot of money over his lifetime, so I don't think we're going to, I think that's exactly what the league wants. I think the proverbial man, if you will, is in the position where they want to put Colin Kaepernick out of business.
And in his place.
100%. Well, right now they feel like he's in his place because he's not playing professional football.
Well, I think that
if I was Colin Kaepernick, you know what I would do? I don't mean to cut you off. You know what I would do?
No.
I would go play baseball. Because you remember.
Because they tried to get Tim Tebow to play?
No, Tim Tebow, I'm not mad. Tim Tebow's another guy that I'm not actually mad at.
No, I'm talking about that they went, as the Miami Dolphins went to go ask Tim Tebow about it playing.
Stop it.
I'm serious in a heart attack.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't get that call.
They want to go everywhere except to
And we know how much the league hates Christian Tim Tebow.
Yes.
And they were willing to put an avid, faith-based believer quarterback out there.
They kicked the tires on him.
And what happened?
I don't know if he turned him down or what the situation was.
But he's out there on that diamond. He don't even want to think about no football.
I'm in the diamond. He's blinging out.
Deep.
Come on, man.
Tim Tebow hitting bombs. AAA. What do you want from him?
Come on.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. That's very interesting to me. But if I was him, I would go play baseball. Because if you remember when he was celebrated as the NFC champion, Colin Kaepernick, he used to throw out pitches at the AT&T Stadium for the San Francisco Giants.
Right.
And they talked about how he threw in the low 90s and mid 90s. He's got a hose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you don't remember that? He threw out the first pitch. He's got a hose. There's no doubt about that. But maybe he's just devoting his life to activism or whatever.
Well, Mark Cuban stood up for him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was talking about how, basically the NFL's dropping the ball in this one.
This is another scenario where you're going to look back, and I don't think history's going to be kind to this one. Everybody who's out there, this is the beauty of America. We're all entitled to our opinions. We're all entitled to.
And he was exercising that right. That's what 100%. He was doing. Why can't I exercise that right? Now, when I exercise that right in the land of freedom, now I'm not free. I'm not free to work.
And the Giants owner said he's never in his history of ownership received letters with such impassioned pleas to not hire a guy. He said that's why he didn't hire. That's why that Colin Kaepernick would never become a New York Giant.
Whatever.
Because he received thousands of letters.
And then
people.
Some other people were saying because he's a vegan. And I mean, come on, man.
I didn't even know he was a vegan.
Yeah.
There it is. He shouldn't get a job.
He doesn't eat meat.
No, come on, man. I mean, come on, America.
Get your act together.
Team America. What are we doing here?
We're not playing as a team right now.
We're not playing as a team.
Throwing the ball around.
As Coach Nahara used to say, you guys are out here playing grab ass. I don't know what to say. I mean, it really hurts my feelings because when you see numerous players throughout the history of the NFL have been caught either playing on cocaine, substance abusing before and after, domestic abuse consistently, actually murdering and being acquitted of murder and or being involved, actual involuntary manslaughter from DUIs. There's a host of vices that the NFL does not seem to have a problem with. And
just don't backtalk me, boy.
And I see that's the thing. I don't know if backtalk is the right word. That's the right sentiment, 100%.
Right.
But it's like this thing with the flag, it's just unbelievable.
I think that they're using the flag as an excuse.
The Stars and Stripes rip, yeah, but this is the thing. I mean, what about all the other guys who joined in protest with Colin Kaepernick throughout the league?
He's a troublemaker. He started it. He's a Nat Turner of football right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Birth of a nation.
Yeah.
Speak on it. That's real. For your fantasy football team, side note, other than Colin Kaepernick, who's your number one draft pick right now?
If you probably got to go running back, right? Or quarterback.
And please don't tell me that it's your man that you can't believe from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, man. That's the man he doesn't have a job either. Where's Jamal Charles when you need him? Jamal Charles must have took a knee.
He must have took a knee.
Because
he one good knee.
Yeah. Jamal Charles is a step, man. He led the league.
He led the league.
Man, Jamal Charles in history averaged more yards than everybody.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
No.
But it's over for him. But you
gotta,
right you know what? I wouldn't be mad at a player like a Dak Prescott type player. I need quarterbacks who can run.
As your number one pick, you're going with a quarterback.
Yeah, I probably would go with a quarterback who can run.
You know, the one year that I actually made some noise in my division, I'm not much of a football aficionado, was when I drafted Cam Newton first, and that was the year he was MVP.
A quarterback that can run.
And his numbers were bonkers.
Yeah.
And I actually drafted him as my backup. I didn't draft him first. I drafted. I
remember.
I got Adrian Peterson that year, and Adrian Peterson busted his knee that year. Oh no, I got Jamal Charles that year. Listening to you, I got Jamal Charles, and he got hurt. Obviously, it wasn't nothing you can do about that. He got hurt.
Up numbers, bro. What?
And then, but Cam carried my squad.
Yeah.
Huh.
The running quarterback. This is a new era.
And now, do you think it's a new era overall with football coming up now?
No question. Although we have a Jay Cutler back on the scene, we're going backwards, just like everything else. We're going backwards with a pocket passer like Jay Cutler, who can't scramble and throw, who can't read defenses. You need quarterbacks.
Jay Cutler doesn't even look like he can open his eyes. He looks like he's in He looks like he's in a Cheech and Chong movie.
I'm stoned.
I don't even know Jay Cutler, so I try to reserve any kind of personal judgment on people.
Right,
but just based on his disposition of his play, not just his play, the non-care that goes on in his play.
Right. I need you to care about losing.
Always.
More than winning.
Yeah.
You have to
That's that Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
I hate to lose, more so than anything.
You have to be offended by the loss.
Yes.
Well, you watch the guys who are serious in any sport, not just baseball, whatever. After the game, they're either standing on the sideline or in the dugout, whatever, and just gazing into space.
My favorite footage of that ever is Derek Jeter when King Griffey comes around to score in the 1995 playoffs on Edgar Martinez's double down the line, and King Griffey comes around to score, and it's Derek Jeter had just gotten called up, and he's just sitting on the bench like, wait a minute, I'm a Yankee. And I'm on the team.
Boy, he was looking like this will never happen to me.
You don't have to worry about this happening to me anymore. I'm going to rattle off these quick four for y'all.
One of mine is Wade Boggs, actually. Wade Boggs broke down.
Wade Boggs was devastated. He sure was.
He was in the dugout straight boo-hooing, man.
After the 86 match World Series,
he could
not believe they lost that series.
He could have saved California with that. Those some serious tears.
And nobody talks about it because they were up 3-2. Yeah. It wasn't like the ball going through Billy Buckner's legs meant the series was over. It just mentally meant the series was over. Because they had a whole nother game the next night.
I can see his face right in
me too. He's devastated. All the bright red hair looking like a fire engine.
Come on, man.
And that's probably in that moment he decided he needed to play for the Yankees.
He's like, this is not
Can you believe
work for me. Yep.
More than 10 years later. 10 years later, Wade Boggs gets a ring with the Yankees.
After slapping all those balls off the Green Monster.
You hated Wade Boggs our whole lives. You hated him so much
because he just would slap the ball at the Green Monster, man. That wasn't skill set to me. He could hit though. When he got to the Yankees,
he was swinging it for the Yankees. At the end of his career.
That's what he was supposed to do. You're not supposed to just go and pepper the Green Monster. Come on, dude.
See, that's not true though. That's like saying guys when the shift is on shouldn't just lay down the bunt.
You shouldn't all the time.
Yeah, what can you do? So, did you watch the fight this weekend?
Lomachenko?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, it was impressive, but not in a sense. You know, he beat up a guy who he's supposed to beat up, and it was a spectacle more so than anything.
Yeah, exactly. So, we got Ellie Seck back on the line, and he's looking to speak on it.
Hello?
Ellie Seck back live in the OZone.
What's going on, baby?
I'm good. I just finished interviewing Mikey Garcia, and he had a lot to say about Lomachenko.
Oh, so you're right on time. So this is great. So tell the people where they can find the video.
If you go to YouTube, type in ES News, one word, ES News, Mikey Garcia, Lomachenko. It should come right up.
Did you already put it up?
Yep. It's a 26, 27-minute video.
Wow. Oh, man, I would like to play it. We don't have 30 minutes to play it. Okay, give us some highlights. Because literally, what we just were talking about was Lomachenko. You know, last week on the OZone, we kind of hammered into a topic that we've introduced before, which is the buffoonery of boxers not having a union. Boxers, fighters, MMA guys, everything, not having a union. And the fact of the matter is, when you look at it, like when you look at the UFC, right? That fight last weekend with John Jones and Daniel Cormier, they paid out a total, I think, of $2 million to everybody on all that card, the whole fight.
That's horrible.
That is terrible.
$2
million.
That's a ripoff.
And realistically, you talk about pound for pound, John Jones is probably the best fighter in the world.
Yeah.
I agree. And he did great, and he got the victory.
Yeah, but, and yet you can make a very serious argument that he was underpaid for one.
I don't even think it's an argument.
That's a good point. But there's we all know about boxers stumbling around the gym and so on and so forth. And I just don't understand, who do you think has stopped that from happening since the proverbial mafia has gotten out of fighting and boxing?
Well, if a superstar is making hundreds of millions or tens of millions, it's an individual sport. It's a selfish thing. You're not looking out for the rest. You're worried about you and your family and your grandkids. So it's hard to, like, people have to sacrifice. If you unionize, you're not going to be fighting. You may have to sit out for a year. And someone comes and throws you $10 million in your face. It's very hard. I mean, Muhammad Ali did it for 3 years for a million different reasons, but I don't see any other superstar sacrificing at that level. So I think that's part
except
of
for Colin Kaepernick,
Right.
and he's not even a fighter.
Well, I don't even
No.
think that, but why do you think it would be a sacrifice? Because what I was thinking, if they had some type of union, in your purse also would be some kind
The
of
union fees.
Yeah, the union fees. They would take out 2%, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Out of
And I'm
all the
not
fights
talking
that are going
about,
on.
and I'm not talking about you need to have, that a guy like Floyd Mayweather needs to put in 25% of, his
Yeah.
earnings or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that guys need to get, 20, 30 grand a month for the rest of their lives. I'm just saying that from what I learned when I did the boxing film with John Leguizamo, there is no union. The guys have no medical benefits. Everything is dependent on their promoters and managers, who oftentimes are also the guys that are jerking them.
That is correct. That is accurate. And unions, look, it works in the NBA. In the NFL, I think their union is the weakest one. I think it works in
Yeah.
baseball, NHL. There is a place for it with MMA and boxing. They can even have one union for fighters.
That's what
And it
I
would
think,
benefit them because you can have a scale, a minimum, a veteran, medical
Yep.
insurance. There's
Yep.
so many benefits to
I'm
it.
just
but,
talking about the bare minimum. I'm not talking about, you know what I mean? I'm just talking about bare minimum. Just so you're talking like medical insurance.
Yeah.
Well, UFC brought it in the last couple of years, but they didn't have it for many years. The pay is super low. I've talked to UFC fighters who are stars who told me that they started on TV and walked home with $12,000. Now, it's not like you fight every week. You fight every 3 months, every 6 months. So that money is really, really minimal.
Especially
And
when you
people-
average out hours that you got to spend in the gym to get to that,
course.
that level.
No.
And especially with brain damage.
Especially when you got
you look
number
at-
one is brain damage.
Yeah, you look at Cormier last time when he just fought John Jones. I mean, that guy might have had a serious concussion. He didn't know
Guaranteed he was concussed.
Yeah, he didn't even know he was knocked out.
And if he wasn't concussed when he got kicked, he was concussed with the 26 shots that that the ref let him take
Right.
after he was
Yeah.
knocked out.
to get him punched
No,
out.
there's no doubt it's very, very brutal. And people do it because they love it. And the real fighters will always say, I'm willing to die in the ring.
Yeah.
I get that and I admire it. But in the big picture, there's a future. You have a family. You have loved ones.
100%.
A union would protect fighters. Nothing's perfect. I work with many unions, whether it's entertainment industry or other industries. And there are unions that take advantage and abuse, and those on the top are enjoying the fast life of the money, and sometimes the workers, it doesn't, trail down. But it would benefit MMA fighters, that's for sure, because I've talked to them, and there are videos that I posted 10 years ago about this topic, and nothing has changed. But it would take all the fighters collectively, and I just don't think that would ever happen because the money that you can make instantly, you're worried about now. You're not worried about the next generation, which may be the wrong approach, but that's kind of the reason why it never matured. If every fighter stepped out, and like in every NBA player sat out, every baseball, but they have no choice. But okay, we'll negotiate. But I just can't see a situation where every single fighter says, you know what, we're in solidarity. We're not gonna show up on fight night, or we're not gonna participate. It's just very hard to do. Now, from what I know from the entertainment industry, let's say you have a TV station. If 2/3 say unionize, then they have to form a union. Like they vote on it, So you don't need everybody, but you need a majority. But I don't know how it would work in a sports field.
Well, they didn't have it forever in baseball, but Kurt Flood changed that around.
Sure did.
Yeah, because this just has to be one person that'll stand up and say, you know
And
what?
he paid the price.
Yeah, and pay the
And
price.
they messed up his life behind that.
Yeah, and then just get everybody together and explain the situation. Floyd rides off into the set with all his money and all the other big fighters who making millions of dollars, and they're giving nothing back to the sport in this sense.
£5 for them is insane. So it's a good topic. I mean, I hope to see. I just want the best for the fighters.
No, this is all we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is all we're talking about is actually what's best for the fighters. Now, let's move into Lomachenko. Let me give you a quick breakdown on what I saw. I saw a guy who was leaps and bounds better than his competition, and he did what you should do when you're leaps and bounds better than your competition. And then the other thing I saw was that Lomachenko likes to get hit. And I also heard tremendous knob slobbing going on by Teddy Atlas. I just can't believe that the guy, I understand he's had 396 amateur fights. The guy's had 10 professional fights, and we're talking about comparing him to Muhammad Ali? What is going on? What's happening?
Well, many times when you're on the air and you're a broadcaster, you want job security, and that guarantees job security. You have to praise the fact. No, I get it. No, I'm not making
It's the company line?
Yes, it's the company line. And Lomachenko is talented. His opposition are not at his level, and he's toying with them. He's like a cat playing with a mouse. He's banging on the guy's head. He's clowning him. He's playing into the crowd. Can he do that with an elite level fighter? Absolutely not. Rigondeaux is a great fighter, but he's small. He's a 122 pounder, so he has to go up 8 pounds for a guy that's 5'2". He may do it. Rigondeaux is super talented, doesn't have much of a following, but Lomachenko's following is growing. So he might continue to fight mediocre fighters until he, builds his hype, builds his following. And you're right. Your assessment is pretty accurate. He did toy with his opponent who's coming off a loss, moving up in weight.
Yeah, and he looked very small. My point is that, okay, the guy can be really good. I'm so tired of the boxing world, of donning guys the next king before they actually fight anyone of merit.
That's exactly what Mikey Garcia told me tonight. He's like, why are you crowning this guy? You guys are turning him into a superstar. He only has 10 pro fights. Let's see what he could do against elite opponents.
Let's see what he can do against the elite. Let's see what he can do against Mikey. I would love to see that fight.
Right.
Because that's going to be a different animal.
Yeah, but Mikey explained to me tonight why that fight will never happen. He said, look, I want to fight him in November. I'm ready. He's ready. But they're going to go in a different direction. Mikey was with Top Rank. He left Top Rank. They're obviously not going to look to, help him financially or make him pay. And Mikey fights on Showtime. It looks like Lomachenko's on ESPN. So there are obstacles over there. Just this fight will not happen. Now, Mikey wants it. I'm sure Lomachenko in his heart wants it. I'm sure his manager wants it. But the powers to be a Top Rank might not want it. And it's a very risky fight for Lomachenko.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think that Loma, I'm impressed with some of his movement. I'm not impressed with his power because he has to break guys down. But I would love to see what happens when somebody comes out and puts pressure on him and doesn't allow him to sit back and get in his rhythm, which is the fight that he lost is basically what happened to him, which is he already gets a late start, and then you would cause him to get a later start if you apply pressure. Truthfully, I think it's a bigger guy that beats him up as comparison to a little guy. I'm not doubting that he's really good, but I just need to see more evidence. The little guy that would give him problems would be Rigondeaux, because Rigondeaux's movement is superior to his, and his defense is superior to his. He just doesn't have the pop. I think you need a guy. What I've seen from Loma's fights when I've watched him fight is he comes out and he doesn't necessarily respect. Once he realizes he doesn't respect your punching power, then it's the equivalent of realizing that the guy can't throw the fastball by you. You get a lot more comfortable, and you can play a lot more games in the pocket and whatnot, which is why that kid actually checked his chin a few times in that fight.
I saw that.
He just didn't have the thump to make any noise with it.
That's what Robert Garcia told me. You've been watching my video today? Or I'm just telling you. I just posted it. You guys were already on. But, yes, your assessments are very, very accurate. But let me ask you guys this, a professional question. Paulie Malignaggi is sparring Conor McGregor. Conor pushes him to the canvas and releases the picture, I dropped Paulie. What do you guys make of that?
He said I dropped Paulie. I thought I didn't know that he said that. I thought that was some fan site.
I take that back. His photographer said, I saw Paulie get dropped.
Right. I hate to say it because I actually usually really agree with Paulie Malignaggi. The problem that I have with Paulie is consistently, he was always really hard on Manny Pacquiao, despite Manny Pacquiao never being tested dirty. He was convinced Manny was on steroids, and he always alluded to that, despite him never wanting to fight him or anything like that. Paulie I thought was a really good fighter. That he was a victim of not having any thump.
Because he didn't have any thump, though.
Yeah, and so, but this is a situation where Paulie decided to step back into the limelight, and they played him out. And he did what he could do by stepping away from it. But you're part of the clown show now. You're a part of the spectacle.
Right.
And this is what...
And now that's what he wants to call it, but he's already been a part of it.
Well, you can't call it the spectacle when you're a part of it. It doesn't work because you signed on for the circus. And that's why he comes out. Then it makes him look like a sucker by saying, nah, release the whole 12 rounds. Watch what happens when you release the whole 12 rounds. It's like, come on, man, you missed the boat. Even though I have no doubt that Paulie Malignaggi tightened up Conor McGregor over 12 rounds.
Right.
I have had zero doubt in my mind about that. But then that's also an old, if you will, and out of shape Malignaggi, who still, if they made a fight tonight, I would bet Paulie Malignaggi. You know, but I just think that with that whole scenario, I don't know Conor McGregor, I don't know Floyd Mayweather. But from what people have told me, Conor McGregor is supposed to be a really cool dude. And it seems like he is taking the blueprint of Floyd Mayweather, made it work in UFC. Now he's figured out a way to do this clown show crossover. He's going to take his beating and take his money and ride off into the sunset. And I just hope it's not too much of a black eye for boxing.
No, but here's the thing. Now, because Nate Diaz has told me that he wants to do boxing, but the UFC always said no. Jose Aldo, who's now training with Robert, and Robert's really working on his boxing, he wants to take a break from MMA and do pro boxing. But the UFC was telling these guys no. So now they're saying, look, there's a precedent with Conor. Maybe we could do it now. So Jose Aldo wants to try pro boxing, but he's more realistic. He's like, I'm not going to start in the top. Let me start lower, mid-level, and see where I stand. And he'll do really good because Robert, for example, Robert Garcia told me Jose Aldo hits just as hard as Chino Maidana. And that's a huge compliment.
Wow.
Yeah, so if he could crack and Robert could work with him on head movement and, defend, a little defense, and, obviously the footwork is key because MMA fighters kick, boxers obviously don't kick. But we may see a new trend now of crossover of MMA superstars wanting to go make some money. Now,
all the more reason to get a union for fighters in general.
Right.
There you go. So if they have minimums and veterans and look, I'm not going to mention names because the fighters told me not to, but there are certain MMA fighters that tell me we don't have money. We've superstars. Right. But UFC comes out with the game. We get no money off it. They sell our T-shirts, our action figures. We get no money off it. So just getting paid from your payday is nice, and maybe they give you a bonus is okay. But everything's in merchandising. Everything's in marketing. Kiss, the Rock Group, when they came out with lunchboxes, everybody ridiculed them and clowned them. But you know how much money they made off that extra stuff? They were like a garage band with like faces painted, right?
Same with Elvis Presley
and Star Wars
and all of that stuff. Star Wars made several $1 billion at the box office too. But you're right. But you're absolutely right. These ancillary forms of income are super valuable. Super valuable. Especially
when you don't have a shoe contract like an NBA player,
right?
And you don't have TV commercials. The only MMA fighter I see that I've seen on TV was Chuck Liddell. He was doing some monster truck energy. I don't even remember what the company for, but he was driving a monster truck, and I think he was. But I've never really seen them in mainstream commercials. So, and they're superstars. These people do have a following, cult-like following.
There's no doubt about it. It's just that they don't have the proper representation.
Yeah, and Dana White got his hand on it. It's a chokehold. Actually, he's got on that lead.
Pun intended. He's got it on all of them, and the guys just wanted to fight, so it is what it is. You see this whole situation, how it's going down. It's really disturbing.
So, between Friday to today, the boxing world has been nonstop news.
News.
Marquez retired, the guy who knocked out Pacquiao.
Oh, Manuel Marquez retired as well. Wow, there's a lot of retirements. Klitschko retired, Marquez retired, and Timothy Bradley retired.
Tim Bradley retired. You had Rafa Guerrero recently retire. So those are all. And what's funny is when Marquez had his party at ESPN, they made him a cake of him knocking out Pacquiao, and they have a little figurine of Pacquiao down on his face. I thought that was a little disrespectful, but hey.
Very disrespectful, especially seeing that those fights made him the household name.
Right.
And besides that, it's also disrespectful that when you want to talk about juicing, the guy fights 36 rounds with the guy. He can't get him off his feet. All of a sudden in the last fight, he's ripped like Adonis at the oldest that he's ever been, training with a guy that has already been convicted of distributing steroids. And then he knocks Manny Pacquiao out completely cold.
Yeah.
That one was always very suspect to me. If I was
everybody,
you know what I mean? I always felt like there must have been no testing whatsoever in that that fight. But I don't know why they would do that. I always thought recently, I was telling Terry this, Ellie's, that I was surprised that Tim Bradley retired to such little fanfare. Timothy Bradley was a great champion.
5-time champion.
Well, he kind of held the announcement, but it leaked out. And because it leaked out so slowly, by the time he made the official announcement, everyone was already 2 weeks in their mind. They already heard it.
Oh,
Boxing
really?
Okay.
Boxing is a tiny fishbowl with a lot of big fish and a lot of big sharks, but it's tiny. It's a very small world, and everybody sees everybody knows everything. There are leaks everywhere. You can't keep secrets. So I was in New York at the Mikey fight 10 days ago, and I heard about Tim Bradley retiring. So even though he only made it official last night or 2 nights ago, I wasn't surprised. I already knew it.
Right.
So, and it wasn't only me. I'm sure everybody. And
well, they didn't tell me.
The story. Amir Khan splits with his wife and accuses Anthony Joshua of.
That was big news. That's terrible fodder, man. And I hope that that's not true. And even if it is, there's no place for running around with another guy's wife and in the news and blah blah blah. So, you know what I mean? There's no place.
They have kids. You know, they have a kid. So I hope they work it out. But I'm just saying this boxing. And then today, the latest one, and again, it's all Kell Brooks on a plane, smoking in the bathroom, drunk, lands in Barcelona, police interrogate him. It's been non-stop news.
He's probably just trying to numb his eye sockets.
Right.
He's just trying to get it to heal up.
Could be, but the alcohol doesn't help on a plane.
Does
Here
not
in the
help.
United States, they would tase him so fast. If this was an American flight, an American airport,
You're not
he'd
lying.
be tased.
100%.
In LA, he'd be arrested already.
He might
But
already
Europe,
be on Gitmo if it was in America.
no doubt. But in Europe, a little more lenient. They just said, we had a disturbance and police interrogated them. They're so polite, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have lots and lots of things going on in boxing. Plus, you have Mayweather media day coming up, McGregor media day, and then you have Canelo Triple G fight. You know, Abel Sanchez saying that. What did he say? Let me see exactly the quote. He said that Triple G's mad at Canelo, and he has Lomachenko eating Mikey up. So there's so much buzz around boxing. For me, it's great covering boxing because I don't remember any time, any period in the last 10 years being so much news from so many directions nonstop.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxing's back, baby. I just hope that August 26th doesn't set us back like the Trump presidency.
Right.
So,
Well, this is the thing. McGregor's going down. We all know that. And Paulie even said that when you punched him to the stomach, he squealed like a girl. Something to that extent. I'm paraphrasing. But he said he was crying. Mayweather's great at body shots. Great at body shots.
he's great at a lot of stuff. What he is,
but
especially
watching
against somebody
him
who's
train-
never boxed before.
Absolutely. Especially someone says they're going to use karate and capoeira. Okay.
Whatever.
Now, if
Yeah,
he can't
exactly.
handle Paulie, he can't handle Paulie in sparring. How is he going to handle Floyd?
Right.
And old Paulie.
Look, it's going to be a spectacle. Millions will watch it. McGregor fans will be shocked. And if McGregor lands one shot, they'll say, oh, he won the fight or he was competitive. but Floyd will stop him or McGregor's corner will take enough punishment. Because I don't know if McGregor has a good chin. I don't know if he I haven't watched enough boxing because I've never seen him box. But I don't know if his tissue, his skin tissue, some people you hit them and they bleed right away. I don't know.
He's going to get cut up.
Yeah.
He's going to get cut up. I think it's 9. I think it's going to be long.
So-
I think Floyd's going to hurt him for a long time.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
because
he's going to
you know
punish
why?
him for a long time. I really
Not only
do.
that, but if it goes all the way to 9, then there's a rematch. If it stops early, no rematch.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the expert Ellie Seckback. Ellie, tell the people where they can find you.
Go to YouTube, type in ES News, and you'll see 57,000 videos. And we're pumping out lots and lots of content these days. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. The OZone.
Ellie, we love you, baby.
Yeah,
See you
appreciate it,
soon.
man. Late.
Thanks.
Yeah, this thing with Timothy Bradley, though, man. You know, Timothy Bradley was a serious problem for a lot of big-name fighters. That's why he couldn't get the big fights, really.
And you believe that's why he realized he was never going to get the big name fight, so it's better for him to just start commentating.
Yeah, and I read also that he said that when he was watching Pacquiao take some of that punishment from his last fight, that was the sealer for him.
I don't blame him. I mean, what else does Timothy Bradley have to prove?
I know.
Nobody wants to fight him. He's not in one of those big stables.
Right.
You know, he trained with his dad,
this
was
is his
Desert Storm
punishment.
forever. That's his punishment for not wanting to play the game.
Mm-hmm. So we won't let you play. We won't let you play with the big boys. Although every now and then they'll throw him a couple of bones and let him get in there and that's just because they probably think that they were going to beat him. And
And he went in there and showed big heart.
showed big heart. He said that he was concussed and he had slurred speech for a little while after he fought. What's your boy Paradnikov?
Yeah, Prodnikov.
Yeah, and he had slurred speech for a little while and then it cleared up, and that's when he started really taking to heart that maybe I need to think about retiring.
About doing something else.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. And I think he'll ease in more and more to his role on ESPN as a broadcaster.
Hopefully he quit being biased.
He's pretty biased. He's
Yeah.
pretty biased. And I think as he starts to speak on more fighters that he did not face,
Right.
he'll be less biased. Now, I just realized I got bit by a mosquito, something fierce. Jeez Louise, look at that. And then you got the big boy that retired. Vladimir Klitschko retired.
Ooh.
And he retired and passed the torch in a really, really classy way.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Really classy way. He passes the torch to Anthony Joshua, and Joshua responded in kind, saying, "Hey, thanks. Any notes that you got for me on how to keep this thing alive for 10 years, I appreciate."
He was a great champion.
He was a great champion, and I really think he's a great champion that could have fought in most eras.
Yeah.
Now, I won't say any era because I don't think that. I think his brother could have fought in any era. I think that Vlad's chin might have been a little suspect for them big boys in the 70s.
Right. Because they drop them on you.
Yeah, and there's just no answer. You either can take that or you can't, which is why all of those guys had brain damage, including George Foreman, I think.
And proud of it.
And proud of it. It is what it is. But, I mean, a great champion. I think he represented well for Ukraine. He represented well for boxing. He was always a classy guy. And now he's walking away with all of his faculties. I'm just really happy that he chose to walk away. Because
he didn't have anything else to prove.
Nothing else to prove. And also, he didn't look. Only thing that he had left to prove was that he could beat up Tyson Fury, which apparently he couldn't. One, because Tyson Fury's on cocaine now, but two, because who knows what was going on in his life. I don't think that was his best night, but that's on his record. It is what it is. His last two fights, he didn't look the best. To me, if you're going to go out on a loss, that's the best way that you can go out possibly, is that Klitschko versus Joshua fight.
And he showed so much heart, and he showed that he was a true champion in that fight.
He sure did.
Got up off the mat.
Got off the mat and chunked him.
Put the kid on the floor.
Just didn't have enough to get him out of there. That was that. He was a 40-year-old virgin.
Oh,
that's how they got him. Come on.
I see it coming.
Come on.
I didn't hear no bell.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave it. And then there's a memoriam going on nowadays, man, because we had a couple players in our favorite sport pass away. Darren Dalton died. Dutch Dalton got him out of there.
Right. He was a stud back in the day.
Man, he was a stud. Unbelievable. He really was. The New York Times says Darren Dalton was the heartbeat of a rowdy Phillies bunch.
Yeah.
Man, that squad was rowdy, and Darren Dalton, he just
fit right
there.
In, right?
He sure did. He sure did. Man, I used to love watching him play.
Yeah,
I used to love just watching. Those guys played baseball, man. Him, John Kruk, Mitch Williams,
Lenny Dykstra.
Nails.
Grind it out.
Grind you a game out. I mean, one of the greatest World Series you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Great World Series between them and the Blue Jays.
Great World Series.
Wow.
Maybe one of the best.
Yeah. Maybe
Literally.
one of the best.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that.
Me too. In some grainy SD footage.
Yeah,
Mess up my eyes.
That's the only deterrent.
Yeah, nah, man. Dutch is out of there, 55 years old. Prayers out to his family. Anytime somebody gives me that kind of
He was a young guy, too.
entertainment, he's only 55 years old. Yeah, only 55 years old. He passed away. It's unfortunate. I woke up this morning to, he died from cancer. And then another very special player died from cancer. A guy that I loved when I was a kid. When I say loved, I mean loved, which was Big Don Baylor.
Gotta love Big Don. Big
Come
Don
on,
was
man.
a stud, man.
Don was a stud.
Right on top of the plate.
And I had stood up tall.
Mm-hmm. And willing to take, I think he got hit more than anybody
in baseball history.
Yeah.
And that was just what I was just about to say. I had that Topps card that said, ouch. And it was his baseball card talking about how he had been plunked more than anybody in Major League Baseball history. He was a really, really, really intimidating ball player. And man, that dude played the game. He played the game in Boston. He came out to L.A. and
played for the Yankees.
He played. I mean, he's a big time ball player. Big time ball player too. Clutch guy.
He had 3 trips to the World Series.
He's a clutch guy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, one AL MVP. Come on, man. 19 seasons. It's real.
19 seasons.
Big man.
The big fella. Got him with that multiple myeloma. 68 years young.
You knew he was in trouble though when you saw him that time when he took the first pitch that night and when Vlad had to help him off the field.
Yeah. When he threw out the first pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was catching the first pitch. He was.
Yeah. Vlad threw out the first pitch. Yeah.
And
Vlad went over there and helped him up.
Yeah, and he was
sure
on the
did.
crouch, and I think he snapped his hip or something like that.
Something wasn't right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. It's really unfortunate. This life, folks, you never know what's going to happen, so you got to take advantage. You got to take advantage. You have to carpe that diem and seize your day. We never know what's going on behind the scenes with the people that we idolize, even with ourselves. Sometimes you got to just keep your life in order. You never know when your number's going to get called.
No, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. If they do, man,
They get it in.
yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. Got to do it. Well, want to move on to the last piece, which is the game of Major League Baseball. I mean, honestly, I watched the Dodgers this weekend. Unfortunately, I don't have the right cable system, so I only watch a certain number of Dodger games unless I illegally stream them. And who would do that? And I watched the Dodgers blast the Mets in the series this weekend. I think they outscored them about 25-6 or something like that.
Isn't it amazing?
25-4, maybe.
Yeah, a team like the Mets, who's supposed to have all that pitching, ends up with nothing.
It's craziness.
I mean literally
2
nothing.
years ago, they had the best pitching staff in all of baseball in the World Series.
Not even questionable.
No, without a doubt. You had Thor, you had Jacob deGrom, you had Matt Harvey, and who was there?
Familia, you had.
You had Familia in the bullpen. They had another guy that was they had Thor, deGrom,
As a matter of fact, I think
Harvey.
Steven Matz came up.
And they had Mats. That we watched Mats at the he dealt on the Dodgers.
And he was swinging the stick.
Yeah, and he came up swinging the stick.
Yeah.
And now because of some conditioning program or something, who knows what happened? But they ran into
Through bone spurs, thoracic outlet, torn.
ulnar nerves.
Yeah, ulnars, and then what's that? The Thor tore his
The lat.
that lat muscle. Come on, dude.
Unbelievable. I mean, such promising young studs. And then Zach Wheeler comes back. He still hasn't been able to get it all together.
Yeah.
But either way it goes, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers because Los Dodgers, I don't know who's going to beat them.
The Houston Astros. And the Houston Astros are honestly trying to get now, which would make it even more so, Justin Verlander.
I think that's a great move for the Astros.
That would be that's a counteract the Dodgers move.
It sure is. Sure, and it needs to.
Yeah.
Because Yu Darvish came to play.
Yu Darvish always comes to play.
And he comes to the tune of about
carve.
250 strikeouts at the Carvery board every Sunday.
The Astros actually give him a problem.
Yeah, he had to pitch against them a lot. And
Yeah.
although, if you remember, he shut them down quite a few opening days. He shut them down.
Yeah, that was big-
before they
yeah,
got their
that was before they got
this
their-
new nucleus
with-
together. Yeah,
Love
but both of the teams obviously got to get there. But I'm just telling you, I watched the game this weekend and lost some money on the game this weekend with the Astros losing to the Blue Jays in a game where they had the lead 3-0, 3-1. Then they end up letting the lead go. Game is tied 3-3 in the 8th inning. They get runners on second and third with no outs, and they don't score the run. They end up losing in extra innings with Francisco Liriano looking like the wrong Liriano.
That wasn't the Liriano that we hired.
That was not the Liriano they wanted to get in the trade. And the kid that they kept was in left field, threw a little dribbler home and couldn't throw out somebody from deep shortstop.
That's what happened when the George Springers of the world to get hurt.
Yeah.
And Carlos Correa, and those guys come back, and then you're going to have your full pitching staff with Lance McCullers getting back in there. And he had a back issue. He'll be back. Keuchel came back. So they're going to be, this would be a great World Series if both of those teams can make it.
Would be a great World Series. I have to say, I watched that series with the New York Yankees and Cleveland Indians, two also top contenders, and that was a clash of the Titans. That was a great series.
Yeah.
The Yankees, they split the series, but they.
I felt like the Yankees went and they did what they were supposed to do
I
to
felt
try
like
to get
they
over
made
the
it-
hump.
yeah.
But I still don't feel like they have enough to get over it. For some reason, it's just like it's like they're missing something still.
I feel like Sonny Gray gets it together. I tell you what they're missing, and what
Aroldis Chapman being a shutdown closer.
definitely missing that. But he was like this. He was suspect last year too
Yeah,
when he
he
was with
was.
Chicago. He's not a lights out guy.
Yeah.
He likes to walk guys. He gives up a hit here and there. He'll give up a bomb every now and then. But by and large, if the Yankees get the lead after 6, the game is over. In general.
Yeah.
In general. But what I was gonna say that they're missing and who woke up this weekend was Jacoby Ellsbury. They need. He had a triple. And the thing is that they need that guy.
Yeah.
They're missing that element of speed to complement the element of power that they now have.
Right.
And that would make them Astros-esque, to be honest.
But
because they have it.
Right.
It's just like Jacoby Ellsbury. I don't know what happened. Jacoby Ellsbury's having a terrible season. He's in like 230 something, I do believe.
The legs.
What
happened to them legs?
They red and leg.
Leg.
Inside joke. Maybe so. Maybe they got him.
Yeah, but this is what the Astros bring, and the Dodgers actually bring it themselves.
Yeah.
They have that complement of speed and power. I think that one of the things that the Astros are going to have over the Dodgers at this point is that the Astros actually are more mature at this age, and the Dodgers, once they get into the playoffs, I feel like they're not there yet to be able to get over that hump. because for some reason there's always something missing with a team like the Dodgers, and they need Adrian Gonzalez, who's probably coming back
he'll
this
be
week.
back.
But
Yep.
but with the kids like Bellinger and stuff, because Bellinger, they're going to scout him out, and trust me, they're going to find holes in his swing, and then
Look like the Mets found a few, even though he's still
he got him a couple. He's going to get his because the Mets pitching staff is completely not up to code. But they look like they found a couple of holes in his swing.
Yeah, and I think those holes come up in the zone.
Yeah, but the Dodgers look great.
I mean,
great.
like wow, top to bottom. The bullpen looks great. The starters look great.
But honestly,
that kid Chris Taylor is setting the table.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with him. He
and
came
they
out
got-
of nowhere. He's having great at bats.
Yeah, but they got
led
Chase
off the
Utley out
game
the
with
lead.
led the game off with a 6 or 9 pitch at bat, something like that,
Yeah.
and then went deep off of Steven Matz.
That's what
off of Jake DeGrom. Sorry,
Yeah.
off of Jacob.
That's what happens when you get the Chase Utleys out of the leadoff spot, and Logan Forsythe, and let the kids get up there, let Chris Taylor get up there, take a great at bat, set the tone for the team, and now you're ready to rock.
Ready to go. Woo-wee. I can't wait for October to get here.
I know.
It's coming
With
fast.
baseball though, I feel like there's not a lot of good teams in baseball really this year. There's average teams, mediocre teams, and then there's like just a handful of good teams above average. Cleveland's good. The
Yeah,
Yankees
Cleveland's
would be
good.
considered good. Boston is good.
Yeah.
You have the Houston Astros and the Dodgers. Everybody else is whatever.
I would say the Nationals are good.
Oh yeah, the Nationals.
I'll say the
my bad.
Nationals are good.
Nationals are good because for one thing they have Max Scherzer.
Which is he's going to compete every time out there.
Yes, and he can pitch against any team at any time.
Any team, anytime, Max can shut you down.
And if you
he's got that stuff with him where Max can literally no hit you on any given night.
yes,
That's a problem.
yeah, it's a problem.
And you got to
Even
see
if
him
you're
a
going
few
against
times.
Kershaw.
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah.
He's one of the only guys that can go pitch for pitch.
Yeah, so he's the X factor, man. I mean,
He's a big deal. They got to get their closer situation together though.
Yeah.
Because the backside of their team is still you can still beat the Nationals late.
but this is the thing with Mad Max though. Max, he goes deep in the game.
No. Max is
He's a problem.
Listen, he's a problem. But I'm saying that's one dude.
Yeah, that's one dude. But if you
But the way that I saw from the Dodgers, hey man,
that rotation they have is in beast mode.
come on, man. And
And
when
they
they
got-
get Kershaw back, you're talking about 4 guys who were going 7.
Right.
And then you're talking about Chingrani, Watson, and Kinley. The game is over. They've shortened the game successfully. They've shortened the game.
Yeah, and Rue is looking great.
I mean, Hun Jin, I'm so happy to have him back.
Yeah.
He was a cornerstone of my fantasy squad a couple years ago when I actually won it all. And then after his arm went dead, it went all bad for me.
Took him about a year and a half, 2 years to get back.
Taking about 2 years to get back together.
Oh.
Wow. All right. You got anything else?
Yeah, I actually do have a couple.
What do we got?
We got Steph Curry.
Steph Curry with the shot, boy.
Yeah.
Big time. Now, I can't say enough about this guy. I know a lot of people. Steph is, even with his appearance on Ballers, people were trying to clown because he shouted out all of his endorsements and companies and stuff. And this guy's a stone cold winner.
Yeah, and he's a good guy.
And
Why are
you're
you gonna be
always
mad at
going to
him?
get backlash when you're a good guy you come to find in
Yeah.
professional sports.
On the offseason, he could be doing something that's not right. And what is he doing?
This guy is out here dedicating his time to something productive.
Right.
And he's become great at something else.
Yes.
Because now he is a professional golfer.
Yeah.
And he was good.
And what's wrong with that?
No, nothing. I mean, I think more of us as men could definitely take his lead on that because we have a certain amount of testosterone and energy that needs to be spent in competitive ways.
Right.
And oftentimes that leads us down the path of doing some dumb stuff.
Right.
And he's showing another way that it can be very positive and productive.
He's a team player, man. He take a salary cut so that you can go out and get more players. I mean, I'm not a Warriors fan, but this dude,
Now,
man,
how can you be mad?
yeah, I'm not mad at him. He's solid.
Can't be mad at Steph Curry. Big shout out, big love, good call for Under Armour to sign that man and make him the brand ambassador. Big love for Steve Levinson and Mark Wahlberg and Joey Juice for getting him on Ballers. That guy's a winner. I'm glad you brought that up. I was really impressed to read that he had made the cut and he's a professional and he's on the tour.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's a pass cool. I mean, and,
Yeah.
and he looks good. He was competitive. It wasn't
No,
like,
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like they didn't throw him a bone to get him out there.
Yeah, no, he did his thing, and it's respectable.
100%.
Yeah, and then we also got your boy who retired. Well, who's on the verge of retiring. Usain Bolt.
Oh, this is the news I need to speak about.
You.
I almost forgot. This is when I get in the car and I'm like, ugh. Got the greatest of all time. It's very rarely that you can hands down say that you're the greatest at anything.
The fastest man ever.
That guy is the greatest runner, greatest sprinter of all time. And in his last race, it looked like he just got a bad start, and he still almost hawked those guys.
Couldn't get that last gear.
He didn't have that.
He chirped.
He didn't have
He
it.
couldn't chirp.
He wasn't 355. That was it. You need that. You need those gears. He was around 373, maybe a 410. He needed 355 in his rear end to get it done. And I tell you what, it was still a beautiful race, a beautiful moment for Justin Gatlin to give him love and give him praise. Now, this is my question to you, Randy Piper. I got a lot of backlash on my Twitter page. A lot of people said, a lot of people on my Twitter page wanted to talk about Justin Gatlin, who has already been caught juicing,
Right.
not being on a lifetime ban, and now coming back and taking the title from Usain Bolt in Usain's last go-round.
Did Bolt complain?
Didn't say a word.
Then let it go.
Didn't say a word. And Bolt came in third.
Yeah, Bolt didn't come in second. He came in third.
I mean, these are all 1/100th of a second, you know.
And honestly, a guy like Bolt would probably make you cheat. If you
Wow.
if he's blowing you out like he's been blowing everybody out
he's
for
been
years,
walking people for a dozen years.
he turns around and looks at you while he's passing.
And
you.
you're a world-class sprinter?
You're like-
That's not even acceptable as an athlete.
right. You're like, this is not working out for me. Where is the needle?
Where's the juice?
I need to
Where is
report to
Orenthal, James?
I need to report to the lab.
Man. And this guy, not that I don't think it's acceptable, but I hear what
Sure.
you're saying. But this, I mean, the dominance that Usain Bolt has shown us over the past 10 years, it might be 12 years.
It's redunculous.
Over the top.
It's crazy.
It's over the top. It's unmatched.
I mean, this
It's
is
unmatched.
the fastest person ever. He
Made Carl Lewis just come out and straight hate.
hate.
Made Carl Lewis hate. There's no way he could be running this fast naturally. There's just no way. I've
Because
seen it.
you caught Ben
Blah, blah,
Johnson.
blah, blah, blah,
he
blah.
caught Ben Johnson back in the day, so he feel like everybody's doing it.
Let me tell you something. Ben Johnson ran a 9.79, and it was just completely and totally mind-blowing. Usain Bolt ran a 9.59, and low-key could have ran a 9.4 in that.
If he doesn't play around.
If he actually had any competition, he could have ran a 9.4.
How many times has he ever run the whole race?
This is the thing, and you could see this is how he hawked those guys in that race right there, because that kid Coleman's a real deal too. The kid Coleman that came in second place,
Right.
And it was the first time since he's hit the scene that I've ever seen him try, where you could say, "Wow, this looks like it's effort." Obviously, he's gifted, and obviously he does his work, so he doesn't have to
Right.
look like he's struggling and straining and so on and so forth. This is the first time on his face he kind of glances to the right, like, "Wait a minute."
I'm not looking back at anybody. It's me.
Wait a minute. And he tried to leg it out. And if he had 5 more yards, he wins the race. But he didn't have that extra 5. That's just
get that extra
unbelievable.
5.
That was such a beautiful race, too. Man. I said it when I watched the semis. I put it up on Twitter. I said, man, it looks like Bolt may have some competition tonight. Because that
Yeah.
Coleman kid beat him in the semis. And it was almost the way that he beat him in a way and looked around and looked at him like, hey, I'm here to run. I'm not scared of you. It was very impressive. It was really impressive. I mean, it's just Father Time remains undefeated because ultimately a 9.94 beat Usain Bolt. A 9.94. Usain Bolt could today literally step up and give you, I guarantee you he could give you a 9.7. He had a bad couple races. He had a
Right.
bad race. 9.94? That's like world class from the 84 Olympics.
Right.
He's perennially in the 9.6s, 9.7s.
Doesn't have it anymore.
Does he not have it anymore, or did he just have a bad race? If you look at his start,
We won't find out.
we will never find out, nor should we. Good for Usain Bolt. One thing that I love about him is he loves being Usain Bolt.
Exactly.
That's something I love about him. I love it when successful people love being themselves unapologetically
Why should he apologize for being the fastest man in the world
and loving it.
and loving it?
And loving it. Little Don Adams, get smart for you older people out there. Yeah, why should he apologize for that? That's hot.
It's really hot.
Really hot. It's blazing, as a matter of fact. You see those shoes that he had?
No, I didn't. I didn't see the burners. He had on some burners.
Inside the shoes, Puma made him some custom shoes, and inside the shoes were London 2011, Sydney,
nice.
blah, 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 blah. All the races that he's won over the last 11 years were all documented all over his shoes, like inside the shoe and everything.
That guy's a winner even when he's a loser.
Come on, man. I mean, most people would love if you went to somebody's house and you saw a bronze medal at the World Championships of track and field. Be like, dang. For him, it's like, yeah, that one. I'm give that one away. we'll auction that one off to charity.
Look how much light he's brought to the track and field.
And to the world.
Yeah.
Because he loves what he does. He's so passionate about what he does. Really seems like he's a guy I'd really like to meet. That guy's cool.
You can see the age on him, too.
You can see it.
Uh-huh.
You can see it. He's been good timing. He's been loving being Usain Bolt for 11 years now.
Has he been finger popping?
No doubt about it. 100%. You can. There's video footage. He's at Carnival. He's out there dancing and grooving. Come on, man. And with a sport as fine as sprinting and track and field, it's not like there's a big window. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's true. And you talk about him doing another Olympics. Was it a few years away?
No, he's not. He said it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
As it should be.
As it should be.
There's nothing wrong with retiring.
And why should he be, since he's not going to be the anchor anymore, why should he be anything on the relay? I wouldn't want to run any leg on the relay if I'm not going to be the anchor when I used to be the anchor. It doesn't serve a purpose. Let one of these young cats run it now.
Well, he's the one.
Yeah, he's the man.
There's nothing else to prove. He's the mark of all time. If anybody's ever going to get like him, they got a lot of winning to do to get even in the conversation with Usain Bolt.
And I'm sure it'll happen. It'll probably just happen when we're not around anymore.
He's a once-in-a-generation talent.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be very, very surprised if somebody just suddenly, if the whole field starts running 9.7s.
Everybody on the juice.
I mean, I think even if you're on the juice, that's the thing
even
about
if you shoot the gun.
I don't think I don't see it happening. You know, and that's the other thing about the juice. It breaks down your body.
Yeah.
You didn't see that from Usain Bolt. You saw him maintain dominance over a long period of time. You talking about every race, you never lose? And it's not like boxing where you get to handpick your opponents.
And sometimes you see him losing the prelims or something. He's just like, yeah, I was messing around. You know?
Oh, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But even though lose, that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't, that's not even a loss. That doesn't even count. That's just qualifying.
He's just playing games.
Get to the finals and let him get out there, silence the crowd. Say, hey, it's go time. Turn on the lights. I put the cameras on him. Yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on him. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what? That's the goal for the Ozone. We're going to get Usain Bolt on the Ozone in the next year. I need him. I just want to hang out. Yeah.
Bolt!
Yeah, they couldn't believe it when he was running. He was too much. All right. Well, leave you guys with a quote from Miss Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Thank God for your struggles, folks. I am Omar Miller, your host. This has been the Ozone on Uninterrupted.
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream.